Hello and welcome to this video about creating mods for Fireworks Mania. Thank you for being here because you are here, I guess, because you want to be part of the modding community for Fireworks Mania and want to see what you can build for the game. And me and the rest of the players are looking forward to see whatever you figure out to add to the workshop. Anyway, so this video I will go through setting up all you need to set up and actually build your first mod really and test it in game. I want to do it without cutting the video, so I want to do it in one long video, so kind of you can see in real time how quickly it can be done. It can of course be done quicker because I will explain a lot of stuff, but even though it might seem like a lot, it's actually pretty simple. But this video is about setting it up. If you have an old mod project and you want to upgrade it, there will be another video for that. But this is about getting started with the new 2024 mod tools that is targeted the new multiplayer version of the game. So, in the description of this video, there will be a link to this mod tools here, which is a page on GitHub. And also there will be a link to the playlist that this video that you're watching right now is in, if it's not already showing in YouTube, I don't know, but I will do a link for both in the bottom, so at least you can find it. Yeah, anyway, so this is the starting point for creating mods for Fireworks Mania. And if you scroll down here, I made a long written guide that I will now go through and do together with you in a video, so you can see how easy it actually is. The first here, video tutorials, that is the one you are watching now, and this link here will take you to a playlist on my YouTube channel. And right now, of course, you are watching, I'm showing you here the old playlist because I'm currently recording the new one, but this video you're watching now will most likely be the one in the top here. How to create mods and how to get started or something like that, because this is the first video if you've never created videos before, created mods before. And this list is also the place to go and find, if you need to do a map or a character or whatever you want to do. I will do these small videos that explain the more specific things, where this video is just setting up and the first initial explanation of how a mod works. So anyway, you'll find a link to that here in the top of this file on the mod tools page. So next step, recommended prerequisites. And that basically means what I recommend that you can do before starting this. You don't have to, you can also just follow the video. It's fine to just follow the video. And then you can go back and watch some of these. You don't have to know everything to start. Just follow this video. Make your first mod and then come back, maybe watch some of these videos. There's a video about Unity, getting started with Unity. And there's also one about modeling in Blender if you want to do that. But again, you don't have to, but here are some links to some great tutorials. And as I say right here, down here, there are tons of good tutorials on YouTube for Unity and Blender. And much of the stuff we're doing here is actually standard Unity and Blender stuff, so you can use that. And that's also why I'm not gonna create tutorials for doing standard Unity things, because it's already there. Another very important step is that no coding skills are required to make mods for Fireworks Mania. So as I say, non-coders fear not, but also coders fear not either, because you can actually do custom scripting. Because you can do scripting. There are some limitations in this new version in relation to multiplayer, but we can get to that. It's in the bottom of this page. But you can do custom scripting. It have been complicated a lot now that we have multiplayer support, because it's much more complicated. And the custom scripting is kind of limited right now, and it's not really official. So it is supported, but I haven't made tutorials or anything, because it's not at a level where I want to get a lot of people involved and start doing custom scripting. Guanaco, if you know him from the community, is doing some. Panini and JJ Blocks have done some stuff, but you can do it, but yeah, it's not fully supported yet, or yeah, what you say. Anyway, boring stuff, already 5 minutes in and we haven't started anything. Okay, now we are getting started. So what you need is Unity, or actually the Unity Hub. So if you click here and you go to and download this this file here, you will see that you get a Unity Hub setup file. Just install that, next, and you will end up with something that looks kind of like this. You also need a Unity account to be able to log into the Unity Hub. And from here, we will install the versions of Unity that we need. It can be a little complicated, but the Unity Hub is basically just like Steam is a hub for games, or Epic Games hub thing is a hub for other games. The Unity Hub is just a place where you can install various versions of the Unity engine, because they publish a new version, I think, every 2 weeks. So you can easily have many versions installed. But don't worry too much about that. Just know that now you have the Unity Hub installed and you're ready to install the right version of Unity that we need. The next one here is Git. It's something, I don't know if it's still a requirement. I haven't been able to test it because I already have Git installed, so I don't know if it's needed. But just to be sure, click this link, go in here, download the Windows one, 64-bit, download that, next, and as it says, restart your computer. After you install these two, restart your computer and come back to this point in the video. Okay, so now we need to get the Unity editor that we need to actually build stuff in. And the place you find which version you need is in the changelog, of the mod tools. And if we click this one, you can click here and it will basically take you to the file, but you can also scroll up here. It's actually just this file that is opening. But I just middle clicked it, so it opened up in a new tab here. And here you can see the changelog of the mod tools. Before upgrading the mod tools, which I will do another video maybe, it's not that complicated, but when you upgrade mod tools after you've done all this we're doing today, because I will update the mod tool as I move forward and add stuff and fix stuff and whatever, you can see in here in the changelog, you can see whatever have changed, something has been fixed here. But what is more important, and also I can put some notes in there that are very important, but the most important right now is what Unity version this version of the mod tools is targeting. And here you can see that version. So if you click that, it will open up this page. And if you click this button here, it should ask you if it's allowed to open Unity Hub. You click yes to that. Then it will open this one and actually start to install this particular version that you just click install on. And then you have that installed. You can see here, I have many versions installed, but then it will show up here as an installed version. You can always just go in and delete that version later when you get a new one if you don't have space on your hard drive. But anyway, just know you can have multiple versions installed. So after we have done this, clicked here, install that version, Unity Hub will download and install the right version of the Unity editor. We are ready to continue. So what we need to do is create a Unity project, because the mods in Fireworks Mania is actually just a Unity. It's not a Unity game, but you kind of create a Unity game really, and then do some specific things to get the content you need out as a mod, as I will show you later on. But let me now, because we are actually starting to do stuff, let me move this over here and let me open up the Unity Hub here. Okay, so I of course have some projects here already, and you just click one of them and then it will open up, and here you can see what version this one is in. But you will not have anything here, so you just click the new project here. What is important is that you click here and that you watch here that it's the right version that we actually need. Remember from the changelog it said, whoops, let's zoom in here. Open your changelog again. in your case, you only had that one version. So at first it's very easy because it's 22.3.5 and that's also what it says here. So it's very easy in the beginning, but as you move on, you can have multiple. Anyway, so you make sure to select the right one if it's not already. And then you need, and this is very important, you need to pick the 3D built-in render pipeline core project here, because that's an empty project with the render pipeline. Don't need to worry about it. It just needs to be the built-in render pipeline. All the other one, it's not gonna work. So 3D built-in render pipeline is what you need. And then you need to name your project. As I'm also explaining over here, it's up to you how you wanna name your project. It doesn't really matter to the mod itself that you're building. All you need to know is that, yeah, of course, structure your thing so you can find it again, but the project can have multiple mods. So you don't have to do a new project for every mod. So let's say you wanna do a collection of 5 cakes and 2 rockets. That's one mod. And then you have another mod that is a map. And then you have another mod that is 3 new characters. All these 3 mods are different mods that you will end up putting up on Mod.io, that will end up in the workshop. But it can be in the same project if you want to. Actually, it's easiest to have it that way, because then you can easier switch between what mod you want to work on and build. So I used to do that in the mod sample projects that I'm doing because it's much easier. So in our case, let us call it Mania Fireworks. Fireworks Mania mods, for instance. And you place it in some location. You have maybe some organization. I don't know how this looks if it's a private account. And then you don't want to connect it to Unity, because this is only if you want to do some analytics stuff, if you're actually building a game, and this version control is not needed either. You can use it if you want to use that as a version control, but you can also do other things to back up your project, which is a very important thing, as we will get to in the bottom. Backup, backup, backup. But right now you don't have anything, so there's nothing to back up really. Anyway, so we have the 3D built-in render pipeline, we have a name, we have the project, the location where it's saved, and these 2 checked off. So let's create the project. And this can take a little time, where it will create the project and download some packages and install the stuff and yada yada yada. So let's see here. So we talked about the naming, blah, 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 empty project. Yes. And then we just have to wait till it's actually started. But while it's starting, I can talk about something else, because I don't want to edit this video, because I want to keep it in real time. So while it starts, let's go to the bottom. Because, as I said before, backup is very important. So in the bottom of this file, there is a project in GitHub/backup, which basically just suggests 2 ways of backing up a project. And there's links to a video showing you how you put your project into GitHub, which is a source control system, meaning that you can, whenever you do changes, you commit these changes, and then you can roll back to earlier version. If you're totally new to Unity and new to everything, this might be a little too complex. But if you're a little more advanced, this is very, very powerful, because you can branch out and do some stuff. If you are totally new and just need a way to back things up, of course, the easiest one is just to every week take a copy of the project there, and that's it. But it can be done a little more smart and a little more automatic via this little tool here, the zip backup tool. I never used it myself, but I know there's a lot in the community that use this one, and it's something like it just every 5 minutes or whatever, it creates a backup, but it's only backing up what is actually needed and not a lot of files that just take up extra space you don't need. So this is a simple one. Install that, set it up, follow the instructions. I don't know how this works, but I have heard from the community members that it actually works pretty good. And it's a very simple way to have a backup. And you want this because you will eventually mess something up, and you want to go back to a previous version so you can continue from there and not having to scrap the whole project because it can't build anymore or something completely messed up. Of course, as always, there is help to find in my Discord from either me or most likely other people in the community, because I can't be online on Discord all the time. I have a game to build too, you know. So you can ask there for if you run into problems, and we'll most likely figure out a way to fix it. So enough talk about backup. I'm not going to show that in this video because, again, I'm using Git and there are tons of videos on how to do that, so I don't need to show that. Let's get back to, yes, okay, here. So let me take the window here. So it just opened up on the other screen, so that's why you can't see it. So here we have our project. And as I said, just to make sure everything is fine and ready, it's always a good idea to press the play button, because it actually starts the game. Even though it's not a game, it starts the game. And it compiles the files and whatever. So we need to take the console here. It's easier if we take it over here, and it's easier to see. And you see, there's no errors. There are no errors, no messages, no anything. And we are in the play mode, as it's called, because this one is blue. So everything seems fine, all good, perfect. And the reason I'm saying that is because there could be a potential problem already here, and then there's no reason for you to continue, because then you have another problem that is not related to the mod tools really. So let's do it like this, and you can see everything is fine. Okay, so next up, install the Fireworks Mania mod tools. And this has actually been, if you have done this before in the earlier versions, it's become much easier now, because it install all the dependencies by itself. So all you have to do now is go to the window here, window menu, and the package manager, and it open up another screen. And then you have to copy this URL here. Copy that one. Don't click it and open it. Copy this specific one, because if you click it, this little Git thing at the end disappears, and then it doesn't work. So it has to be specifically this one. And then you go to, you can zoom in a bit, we go to this little one and go to the add package from Git URL. And actually this is the reason you needed to install Git in the first place, is because we need Git for this to work. And then you just put it in here and press add. Right now, because I'm recording this before this is released, I need to put a little extra thing in here so I get from the right branch, but you don't have to do that. You just put it in and click add. Because when you see this video, the version I'm showing you here is in the normal default branch. Anyway, so you just take that link over here and put it in and click add, and then it will install it. So now you can see it's installing the package. We wait a while, and it does its magic. Setup, it downloads a dependency like network for netcode for game objects, and I can't remember, text mesh. No, it's already there. Some localization stuff, input system, blah blah blah. It installs all the packages that is needed to build this. And as you can see on the guide over here, in a moment it will come up and ask if we want to enable the new input system, and then we click yes, and it restarts Unity, and we are ready to start actually doing some stuff. So you can see it comes here, restart the editor, yes, and it should close and restart. Let's see. Because when it's starting up in a moment and we click play again just to make sure everything is fine, I think we got to the point where we actually need to create our first mod settings links. Yeah, let's see here. Of course, how long this takes depends on your internet, your machine's power, how fast your machine is, and all that. So now we are in Unity again. Let's close this. We can see it's still building something down here. There's a little message here, no problem. It's no errors or anything. And just to be sure, let's press play. Let's see. Yep, everything's fine. No errors, all fine. again, a good idea to do from time to time to see everything is working and as it should. One thing that is also very important is that you click away from this play thing. It shouldn't be blue as it is now. Now you are in play mode, and you can do a lot of things in play mode. The problem is if you by mistake stay in here and do a lot of stuff, the moment you click away and go out of play mode, everything is reverted back. So be sure you are not in play mode when you're doing stuff. You shouldn't be in play mode at all when building mods, really. Only to do as I'm doing here, just to test it from time to time. Okay, so create your first mod. Woo! Very exciting stuff. So first, let's see, create mod and folders. So let's create the first mods folder to where we want to put in our mods. So in the corner here in the asset, we right click and say create and folder, and we call it mods. And this is of course the folder that will hold all our mods. We'll only create one mod here, but you can have multiple, as I said in the beginning. After we've done this, let's go to the mod tools and mod tools, create new mod. There's a new window on the other monitor. And let's see here, let's follow the guide. So I do as I wrote myself. So it's very important that you give your mod a good name and a unique name. So I tend to prefix it with my nickname, Mania in this case, and then let's call it tutorial mod, and let's do a 02, because you can see in my test over here I did a 01. So let's do a 02, and we want it to be in the folder assets/mods. This will work. You can also click this button and actually, browse to this mod thing. Then you will see that it's showing us up as the full path. It doesn't really matter. It figures out itself. The important thing is just that you give the folder where you want the mod folder to be created in. So we do it like this, create. And as you can see here in the corner, we have mods, and now we have a folder that is named the same as our mod. There's also readme, which is something that comes from the umod system I'm using for this. You don't have to read that. Okay. Also, another very important thing, avoid spaces and special characters in the name. So no @ or O in Danish, or if you have any weird characters and umlauts and stuff like that, don't put that in. Let's stick to like underscores and A to Z characters and numbers. Just to avoid, we have had some issues with modders creating something with an odd character in it, and that caused a lot of issues and couldn't be loaded, and yeah. Okay, yes, then we can, let's see here. Structure you have, now that we have the mod folder, let's create some more folders that will help us organize better our files as we go. Again, you don't have to do this, but it's a good idea because you will get something called definitions, and you will also get something called prefabs. Again, you don't have to do it like this, but it's just easier if you do this. We are not going to fill stuff in all of them right now in this tutorial, but icons. But having them there makes it easier to put things in the right places, really. Again, it's up to you. The mod tool doesn't dictate any of this structure. It's just a good idea. Okay, so now we created the mod, and the mod is kind of created in the project. So now we go up to the export setting to set up some stuff about our mod. So we got up to the mod tools again and export settings. Here we can see active profile, and this would have multiple. If you had more mods, you can actually add another mod here. No, that's export profile. No, sorry. This is profiles. Sorry, it's something about how it should be exported. So it doesn't matter. This is not where you shift the mods. You can do that another place. Anyway, so what it says here is that you should fill out the mod name, the version, and the author. So author, I'm gonna write Mania. Version is 1.1.000, that's fine. And this is the mod name, also fine. The mod export directory, these are some metadata, by the way, that is put into the mod, and only these are actually used in the game. Description, icon, and stuff like that. Well, it's on these two. Is actually taken from the mod.io system that we are doing in another video on how to put up your mod on mod.io, so it shows up in the workshop in the game for other people. When we are testing it here, it's only on your local machine, so only you can play with this mod and use it. But more on that in other videos. So the mod asset directory is the location of your mod, as you can see here, mods, Mania tutorial, yada 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 02. That's this folder. And the mod export directory is where the mod should be built. I know we haven't put anything in the mod yet, but we have to set up where it needs to build the mod to. And to make it easier on ourselves, it's easiest if the mod is built directly into the local mods folder of the game, because then you just have to exit the map, be in the game. You can have the game running at the same time, and then you just have to exit the map and go into the map again, and it will reload the mod if you did a new build of it. But I will show you that in a moment. So it's much easier if you build it to that location. The thing is that location is specific to your user and your machine, because the way Windows works, it stores these data, or the way Unity works, it stores these data under your user on your machine. So enough talk. So we want to point to that, and the way we can do that is by clicking this one, and we'll show up your standard file explorer, and then you just copy this one and put it in here, and it will go to your folder based on your name, based on your username. So this is what we need. Just click select folder, and it's picked the right location here to that specific folder. And this is where the game picks up mods from, so it makes sense to build it to that location. Anyway, next, build, and this is very important. Optimize for build time or file size. Very, very important that you pick file size, because there can be a big difference between the size of the mod if you pick this one over this one. And you want to pick file size to make the mod as small as possible, as quickly to load as possible, and as easy and fast to download as possible once you get it up on mod.io on the workshop. So pick file size here, very important. Again, we are still just setting up our mod inside Unity here. Again, I've talked a lot, it took a while, but if you think about what we are doing, it's actually pretty simple. Okay, so that's it. Let's see, close mod settings. Okay, create the entity definition. Okay, so the thing is, a mod can contain a lot of different stuff. There are some rules for maps, but I'll explain that in another video. But in general, a mod contains a lot of definitions that define what it is. And definitions is kind of everything you see in the inventory is a it's a definition, basically. It's a Fireworks or prop definition, and the definition have metadata around that object, but you will see that in a moment. So definitions is a thing that we will use a lot in the game for doing various things. There is game sound definitions, there are Fireworks definitions, there are character definitions, there are map definitions. So all of these kind of represent metadata around a certain type of thing. So let's create a let's see what we suggest we do here. We create a Fireworks definition. Okay, so let's go into definitions, right click, create Fireworks Mania definitions, and we find, oops, let's just do it again so we can better see it. Create Fireworks Mania definitions and the Firework entity definition. So we create that one, And then we name it again something that is unique, and this is very important because we call it tutorial cake. Let's call it 02 or 02 just to name it something different than what it's called over here. So when I click this and select it, you can see in the inspector over here, you can see all the properties of this definition. And let's follow along on the guide here so we don't skip any steps. Again, I suggest the name saying your nickname, entity name, and a name of item. Again, you don't have to do it, but it's a good idea to do it something like this to make it unique, because this ID that we will put up here, which will be the same as this one, is have to be unique across all other items that people install from the workshop. Else there will be a clash of things. So it's pretty important that it's unique. So let's see. So I don't know why we are not getting actually these errors. We should be getting that. No, anyway, I don't understand that actually. That's weird. But anyway, I think we might get it if we do like this. Let's just check. Yeah, okay. When we run play, sometimes it have to run play to do these validations. Anyway, so you see we get some errors down here, as it's also here. And it says, please update unique ID to something unique. And if you click it, it highlights that definition that has a problem. And you can see it has to have a unique ID. And up here, you can also see insert unique definition ID. Oh, can it be easier? No, it can't. Maybe if it said it itself, but I have had some issues with that. Anyway, you can name it whatever you want, but I also made a quick item here, so you can right click and set ID to file name, because typically you just wanted this ID to be the same as the file name, because it's the easiest. And it's fairly unique if you named it correctly. Anyway, so let's see here. We do this, we do the unique ID, blah, 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 just set that. Then we also have to specify a definition, because this is a Fireworks definition. We also have to specify what type of Fireworks is, or what entity type it is. And whoops. So you just go in here and click this little circle thing, and you might see something like I'm seeing here, which is nothing, but it's just Unity's way of hiding and showing some stuff, because these are defined in some packages, and by default it's hiding that. So you just click this little eye icon over here, and it will show you all the different definitions. So we are doing a cake, so let's pick the cake definition. This defines, of course, what type of this is basically used to put this firework in the right category in the inventory. You know, there's these buttons on the side. This is what defines where the item go. So we want it in the cake one. Okay. So we hit the I here, blah blah blah. We set that, and we can also see again now, because that was the next one, missing definition, entity definition type, which was this one we just set. And now we have the next error, which is missing prefab object on Mania. Again, you can click it, it's selected, and it's missing the prefab game object here. And this is where things get interesting, because right now we just created, so far we created the definition, which is basically the metadata around a piece of firework. Now this prefab up here, which we will create in a sec, is the item that is actually spawned in the game. So when you pick this item in the inventory and you spawn it, one instance of this prefab will be generated. So this is the actual fireworks. All of this we have done so far is just set up around it, basically. So we need to create a prefab that we can drag in here. So how to do that? And that's also becoming much simpler in this version than it was in the last version. So if you try that, this will be easier. Because in the new version here, you can just in the hierarchy over here, you can right click now and say Fireworks Mania, templates, and fireworks, and then you can pick a template. We are creating a cake, so we created a cake template. So if you click this, you can hit the F button and then you will get closer to it. And if you hold right mouse button, you can kind of fly around and have a look at it. And if you think these icons are a bit too big, you can go up to this one up here and you can drag this one down so it's not that crazy to look at. You can also completely hide all these helping things, but they're pretty good because they are showing various stuff. Yeah, so let's make it a little wider. Now the window, normally you would do this in full screen of course, but I'm doing it like this so I can easier show it to you. So now we have this cake template here. Right now it's not a prefab, it's just an instance. You can see it's all gray up here. But we basically have a working fireworks here, but we can't use it yet because we need to create this. We need to make it to a prefab, and the way you do that in Unity is that you drag it down to this folder. So you just take this as it is, drag it down to the prefabs folder. You see this little blue icon being created. And you can also see it's becoming blue up here. So down here in the project window, this is the actual prefab. What you see in the hierarchy up here is an instance of that prefab. And why is that important? It's important because in the hierarchy shown here, if you make changes to this one here, it will not be saved to the prefab and will therefore not get into the game. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm just trying to help you not make mistakes. So yeah, so just to make it easy, you just delete the one up here in the hierarchy. And you can save the sample scene, doesn't matter. We're not using that for anything. The important thing is that you have your prefab down here now. So let's see what we suggest we do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we actually renamed it up there, but if we renamed it before, after we made the prefab, doesn't matter. Let's just rename it here. So we renamed the prefab to Mania Cake Tutorial. What did I call it? Tutorial Cake Prefab? Tutorial Cake 02, I think. Prefab. So here we have our prefab. Okay, so let's see, what are we saying? We are saying delete it from the hierarchy. We do that. And now we want to edit the prefab. So the way we do that is that we double click the prefab and now it opens up. And you can see this is still the hierarchy, but now there's a little error here showing that we are in a prefab edit mode. Go back here, we get to the scene. And if we double click it, we are in the, you can also see up here what prefab we're editing. And this is basically where you want to edit your prefab, you could say. Another little hint that I'm giving over here is to turn off autosave, because sometimes if you have a bigger one, it can be very slow to work with if it's autosaving every time you touch something. So it's a good idea to turn this off and just save the prefab by hitting Ctrl S whenever you are done doing stuff that you're doing. Just a little hot tip. Anyway, so let's see, what are we doing? We want to edit the prefab, double click it. Yes, that's fine. Yes, okay. So the only thing we need to do here for now, because you can see there's a lot of stuff over here and it's super complicated and a lot of stuff over here. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out in some other videos. All you have to worry about now is find the cake behavior, because in the cake behavior there is an entity definition, and it's basically the prefab knowing what entity definition it's part of, and in a moment we will also tell the entity definition what prefab that it needs to spawn. So there needs to be this double relationship, and you can say, can't you just do that manually? I wish I could, but apparently Unity have some weird stuff about referencing to its own things, and yeah, I can't make it work so it automatically sets the relationship the other way. So we have to do it manually. So what we have to do now, we are in the prefab, and in the entity definition here we click the little icon here, and we find our Mania cake tutorial cake 2. We could also have named this definition or something like that, so it's easier to see. But anyway, you can see down here where it's located. So if I make this a little wider, you can see when I select it here, you can see it's located in definitions, and then it's called Mania cake tutorial blah 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 blah. So this is the one we want. So we double click that and it sets it in, and we press Ctrl S to save it, as it says here. And I'm giving the hot tip about autosave right here. So now that we have set that up on the prefab, now we can go back to the definition, click that one, and now we actually, because we now have a prefab, we can set it in here. We can either go here and drag it up like that, but we can also click on this one and find it in here, like searching for Mania, and then we can find it here. Again, sometimes you can have a lot of stuff that is named the same, so it's always a good idea to look down here in the path so you're sure you are hitting the right one, because you can sometimes pick a wrong one. So you can also double click here. It ends up being the same, that the entity now have a reference to the prefab, and the prefab have a reference to the definition. And this is used internally in the game to do various things, so don't worry about it. Just know that it have to be like this. So let's see. Oh yeah, now we need to give the definition a name. I don't know why we didn't do that before, but let's call it Mania. Just to name it a little different, let's say tutorial cake 02 or something like that. So this is the item name. This is the name that will actually show up to the user in the inventory, and that's the name they use to pick the firework. So let's go down here, and the last thing in the definition is the icon, and we can of course just pick a random icon, but it will look weird with one of these white boxes. You can also create your own image and put it in here. That's up to you, but to make it easier, I implemented something with the help from Panini. Actually, he did it first in some other things, but I'm taking a version of that into the mod tools now because people really enjoyed it and wanted it in there. So now you can click, when you are in here, you right click on the prefab, and then you go to Fireworks Mania, generate preview. And then there's different options here. You can have other graphics, which is like no depth, it's just flat. And then there's perspective, which is more kind of a 3D look. And then you can pick if it should be from the front or from the back. It's like from the side view to make it look a little more important or more interesting. But I think we tried the front one. And now you can see it shows down here a new file. And if I click that, we can close it. I don't know why it starts by expanding it, but we can close it, and then we can actually see the sprite here. So this is the image. We can just, for the fun of it, let's try and create the other one, perspective from the back. Yeah, and then it shows like that. It's, you know, for this one it's kind of the same, but you can pick between these two, or you can do your own thing, but this is the easiest way to do it. So, and here you can also see, some settings for this, but it should be set up pretty okay. So you don't have to do anything other than this. So now we can go back to the definition, and we can go to the icon, and we can either drag it up here, or we can pick it from here. Right now I don't have much in this project, so it's very easy to find, but else I could just have searched for it again and then picked it here. So now we also have an icon. And once you get to this point, you can clear this out because there shouldn't be any more errors or anything. Again, you can leave this here, because it's easier when you just right click and create a new one, it's easier, but you could also put it into the icons folder. So it's kind of organized as an icon. What is very important is that if you do what I'm doing here, do it inside Unity. Don't go out to the file explorer and move things around. Always move things around inside the Unity, because else it can lose references to things. So we can do like this, and you should see that it still have a reference, you can see here, to the image, and now it's just pointing to the image in here, or the icon in here. So all good. Okay, pretty easy. icon, yada yada yada. And now we need to build the mod. Woohoo! Exciting times. So we go up here to mod tools, and before we do that, let me just see if I come prepared and have a clean mod folder, just not to confuse people. Yeah, I don't have that, so let's do it like this. Let's see here. Where is it? Huh? Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the mod folder that we used before. And now I just emptied it out because I had some other mods, but not to confuse people. Let's do it like this. So I take the mod tools and build mod. And now it should just build like it's doing here. If you set everything up. Again, I know you haven't done any effects, you haven't done anything yourself, but you have actually created a mod and you added a cake. And now you're building that mod and it's being built into the game's local mods folder. So let's open up Unity while we wait on, not Unity, but Steam. And let's start the game while we wait on that. I don't know if that was the best idea because it's pretty resource intensive to build. And also I don't know if it's true, but it feels like the first time you build a mod, it takes a lot longer than the second time. So bless you. So let's see. Okay, now the game starts up over here. So once it's done, you should see down here. Oops. Built successfully, and the mod folder will also open up. And now you can see here, Mania mod tutorial mod 02. Note that this doesn't have cake in the name because that's the mod name, and the mod might have more than this one cake. So you can see here, it's located in here. It's a mod file. And if we go into the game now and we go to single player, we should, okay, now I have a lot of other mods. Let's maybe just remove all of them just to make it easier to see. And also that this is also a good idea to disable all mods when you are doing mod development, just to avoid that other mods are the problem if you have a problem. Let's just take it down and start it up. And we can also, just to do some debugging here, if you press F1, you can see the log. And hopefully we should see it's loading our mod here. Yeah, initializing mod, Mania mod tools, tutorial mod 02, author Mania. That was the information we put in. The mod tools version. Okay, relax, dog. The mod version and UMod version, some other Unity version it was built with and stuff like that. But you should see a mod in here, else something is wrong. And this is also where you can see if there are errors. You will see some red stuff going on here. So let's close that, hit tab, and let's see if we can find, because we put it in the cake one, so we find it under cake, and here we have it. Beautiful Mania tutorial cake 02. Do-doom. Click this one and spawn it, and let's see if it works. Oh my god. Oh, it works. Beautiful, beautiful. And again, look in the console, no problems, no issues. Perfect. Okay, that's fine. So let's just delete it so we don't have to listen to it. Oops. So let's go back again to our mod here, and let's see. So let me see. Okay, so we built a mod, blah 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 blah. It's in the folder. We test it in game. It's always a good idea, by the way, to also test that it works in the blueprints. So like, have some of them here. Do a quick save, no issues, and then we do a quick load, and it loads up, no issues, perfect, works. Okay. So we see it right there. It was also almost like I knew what was gonna happen. So just show you one more thing before we get to the next thing. Now you saw it was kind of some colors, and just to kind of let's see that we can actually, let's just like quickly do like this and select outline. We don't want that. Just so we can see something. Let's see, show selected only. That's the one. Let's see, explosion. Which one is it? That is actually the colors. Trail, no. Wasn't there a green one? Is that the green one? Okay, so it shoots up green. Okay, let's just make it, for instance, red. So we make that red, and we make the flash. I think that gets it from that. Subtraction. Okay, so we just changed it from green to red. It's not super easy to see here, the way this is done, but let's see. So we have this one. Okay, so that is, so the flash here you can see is actually white. What if we make that pink? Yeah. So we make the flash pink and the color blue. This is all weird, but just to show you that it works. So now I'm saving this prefab, and then I go to the mod tools, build mod, and then I build the mod again. The game is still running in the backend, and now the game has been built. You can see it's much faster the second time. And then we go in here. If we open the console, you can see that it has detected a file change for this mod. So we just have, we still don't have a restart button. Maybe I may manage to do a restart button here, but for now we just have to exit out and go again, because they have to reload the mod, and it does that whenever it's entering a map. So we just do like this. We can see pretty fast, and then we can go in here, put our mod down, and hopefully it should be now red and purple or something. Okay, it's hard to see, but it actually is red, the one going up here, and the flash is also red. Okay, I picked the, we should maybe have picked the, okay, that was a bad example. But this is how you will sit and explosion. Okay, maybe it's because it's color over lifetime. Nope, that's not it. Okay, bad demo right here, but you can change it like this. Let's see. Okay, I'm missing something here. Anyway, we can also we'll do some other videos. I might do some other videos about these effects, but really there are a lot of particle system effects videos on YouTube, and I will actually also put one in the I forgot that one, it's not right now in the readme file when they get started, but I will put it in there. I think there's a good guide explaining all of these different things over here. I haven't done fireworks in a long time because I'm mainly focusing on making it possible for you guys to make fireworks. So I can't right now remember, and it's so annoying because I know when I rewatch this video in some time I will say to myself, oh, it's right there, fix it. But it's very annoying. Let's see, sub emitters. So birth, smoke trail, this one. No, that's weird. Oh, anyway, that's not part of the tutorial. Anyway, you saw that it changed. I want to change something so you can actually see it. Let's make it shoot up much less. I want to have something so I can actually. So now you see, now it's not shooting very far up. Let's try and build that. It's actually a bad demo, but let's go out again and let's go in here and go in here, and we should see that it's not shooting that far up in the air. You see, now it's not shooting at all up. So there's tons of things you can do to tweak this, and this is the exact way that, you know, Amnesty makes his beautiful effects and all that, and you can make it very, very realistic. This one is not very realistic. The most of the built-in fireworks is more made towards being performant than looking good. Maybe today I could do it a little bit different if I spent some time on it. All these things I made them like 3-4 years ago or something like that. because you modders are much better at making awesome fireworks than I am. But I will go not maybe through how to make the effect look good as such, but I will go through, I think, some other videos of how to set the sounds and the different, you can see there are different components, different things in here, like launch physics and exploding physics forces and all that stuff, which is specific to Fireworks Mania. But the particle system itself is not. I made something to make it do some stuff, but how it looks is basically a standard thing. So what's next? Okay, what's next is that you go up back to the tutorial thing up here and take the next video in this playlist that you are watching right now, because up here I will do videos for creating characters, mods, maps and sounds and all that stuff. So that is really your next step, which I put in here. Yes, I love to see your stuff. Oh, I also do videos about putting it up on Mod.io so it shows up in the workshop. Right now you have it only locally on your machine and you're the only one who can use it. And that's also very important to note, that because we now have multiplayer, you have to be aware that mods that are in your local folder will actually also be loaded when you're joining a multiplayer game. I don't know if I can and will do something to prevent that, but really it's up to you to make sure you don't have any mods in here. Because if I can join a multiplayer server now, another host, and I can try and spawn this, but it won't work because the host doesn't have this mod. So therefore it doesn't work. It have to be all clients and hosts need to have the same mods. And the game normally, and that's why you want to put it on Mod.io, because then the game makes sure everything is fine and working without you having to think about it. Anyway, I'll do another video on putting it on Mod.io, which is I'm talking about here. You need to put it up on this Mod.io here. You can kind of add a mod, and then I will do a video, but you can figure it out yourself, I think, because it's not that complicated. And then your mod will show up here together with all the other ones, and it will show up in the game's workshop as you know it. There's some troubleshooting stuff, then known limitations. Just quickly, if you are a coder, if you're not a coder, this doesn't matter, but currently there are some limitations due to some, not issues, but lack of features in netcode for game objects, which is the library or package I'm using from Unity to actually build the multiplayer logic. And everything works fine in the game, but there are some shortcomings when it comes to including some of it in a mod. And I can't do anything about it. I talked with Unity for a year or so about it, and they are working on it, but it's not fixed yet. But yeah, we do what we can. The same goes for network prefabs in the mod definitions. They are also not working for modded maps right now, but I will let you know, and I will do videos about it when hopefully it will work. So yeah, that's all for now. Happy modding, and looking forward to see what you build with this. This took like an hour of a video, but really you can do this in a matter of minutes to get up and running really. Now that you have it, I just wanted to explain stuff. So happy modding, and see you in the next videos, because you will watch other videos now with other topics. See you, bye.